Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will begin in 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spring 2020 Wildcat Battalion Commissioning Ceremony. I am Captain Jessica Copey, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today's event. At this time, please mute your microphone. When it is time for you to speak, please unmute your microphone and then remute at the conclusion of your remarks. At this time, please direct your attention to the screen for the playing of the National Anthem and the Invocation by Mr. Martindale.
Greetings, my young friends who are about to commission. Let us be in a spirit of prayer. Eternal Father, strong to save, we give thanks that you have brought us safely together to celebrate the attainment of this first plateau in the career of these young men and women as they accept their commissions as second lieutenants in the United States Army. We give thanks that by your grace you have given them the mental and physical skill and resilience to accomplish this first mission. We pray that you will continue to guide them their leaders, their peers, and all who work with them. They may know and do your will and all that you give them to do. In all things, give them the wisdom to uphold all that this nation holds dear and to be exemplary representatives of the nation, our nation, in peace and war. We give thanks for the family and friends who have supported them as they accepted and overcame the challenges they encountered along the way. We also give thanks for the skill of their instructors who helped prepare them for this day. Be with us now as we continue this ceremonial celebration. In your name we pray, amen.
Good afternoon, President Fritz Erickson, Colonel David Woodruff, Colonel Jesse Phillips, Command Sergeant Major Gareth Kilpatrick, Mr. Lance Hilton, and Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Harris. I would also like to welcome any other distinguished guests from the NMU community and any Army senior leaders following us on YouTube. Welcome to the Spring 2020 Northern Michigan University Army Reserve Officer Training Corps Commissioning Ceremony. This ceremony marks a milestone in the lives of the cadets here before us. Today, they will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. On this day, these young women and men will become leaders of the brave soldiers currently defending our great nation. It is my pleasure to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Harris, the Professor of Military Science.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 2020 Wildcat Battalion Commissioning Ceremony. I know this is not how we envisioned this ceremony back in January, but here we are. We have all had to work very differently to make this happen over the last few months. President Erickson and the NMU community following over YouTube, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We really appreciate everything you do for our battalion, ROTC, and the veteran community. While this is not the way we intended to hold the ceremony, it does provide the opportunity today to be joined by our brigade command team, Colonel Phillips, Command Sergeant Major Kilpatrick, and Mr. Lance Hilton. Thank you for the leadership and support you provided to us and all of 3rd Brigade's battalions. I'd also like to acknowledge any other Army leaders following us on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to take a minute to recognize the families of our soon-to-be second lieutenants. What you have instilled in these ladies and gentlemen during the formative years of their lives is manifested in the office that they're about to take. Thank you for everything you have done for them. I'd also like to take a brief moment to acknowledge all the veterans we have following us today. Thank you for what you have done and for paving the way for us all. I'd like to highlight a few major achievements this class has accomplished. This class ranked 12th nationwide in their overall achievement. It consisted of four distinguished military graduates, and the assessment of their performance at last year's Cadet Summit training was significantly higher than the Cadet Command average. I'd also like to acknowledge some historical firsts. In a few minutes, Autumn Beeman will commission as the first female infantry officer from Northern Michigan. And Kendra Curtis and Andre Olson will commission as NMU's first female armor officers. It has been an honor to work with this class over the last 2 years. I know you will all go on and do great things in the Army. I would like to now introduce our honored guest, Colonel David C. Woodruff. Colonel Woodruff has led soldiers at all levels of the Army, from platoon to his current assignment as the commander of the 181st Infantry Brigade at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. He was commissioned in 1995 from Marion Military Institute and earned a Bachelor of Science in Political Science from Lake Superior State University. He also holds a master's degree in National Security from the U.S. Naval War College, College of Naval Command and Staff, and a master's degree in Strategic Studies from the U.S. Army War College. He has deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Operation Inherent Resolve. His awards and decoration include the Bronze Star Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, and the Meritorious Service Medal with Silver Oak Leaf Cluster. He and his wife Jennifer have 4 sons, the oldest of which he will commission shortly as a second lieutenant. Colonel Woodruff, thank you for joining us here today.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Hey, so what a great opportunity it is here to be here today with all you. As Colonel Harris said, my name is Colonel Dave Woodruff, and it is a great opportunity to be here and what is probably the first of many ceremonies for these future lieutenants. It's unfortunate we can't all be here together for this great start to your career, but I really think this is one of the first lessons you all have in flexibility and why your generation will really understand problem solving in an entirely different and new way. Okay, I want to speak to you about three different and distinct groups here. Okay, first, the parents and the family and friends of the future lieutenants, then the cadre that trained them, so Tim and your team, and then finally the incoming second lieutenants. Okay, first, to all the parents, families, and friends, to these soon-to-be second lieutenants, thank you. Thank you for raising your son and daughter and allowing them to serve in your Army. I say your Army because it's made up of American citizens of all walks of life, from every corner of our nation, no matter their race, creed, or color, economic background, or religion. They serve so that we may be free. Free to speak our minds without fear, free to worship without prosecution, and free to raise a family free of oppression. That freedom comes with a price, and that price is about to start being paid by your son and daughter. And we thank you for allowing them to join our ranks today. I don't say that empty-handed. My son has decided to join this profession. And as much as I'm proud of him, I am full of some of those same emotions that some of you may be feeling right now. That fear, that anxiety, that overwhelming sense that I can no longer help him in every situation. But it will be okay, because I know this profession. I know the one he's joining, the profession he is joining puts its people first and always accomplishes its mission. So you have nothing to worry about. Okay, next, to all those cadre, those NCOs and officers who have their broadening jobs here in ROTC and Cadet Command. So it's not a glorious job, I got it, but it's one that it's an honorable one. Okay, weekends and long summers away from family while training the Army's future leaders is awesome, but it still takes us away from our families more than you'd like. As a former assistant professor of military science, I cherish my time imparting what I had learned as a platoon leader in Korea and a young company commander in Baghdad. And I love teaching the next generation of officers, but it had to come to an end, as will your time. You cadre can look back on this time and be able to hold your head high, knowing that you made the difference. You trained officers for our Army. You had an impact. Not everyone gets to do that. These soon-to-be second lieutenants will remember you for the rest of their lives. I know you may not think so, but I can still remember my professor of military science and my assistant professor of military science, Lieutenant Colonel Wes Cooler and Major Dave Walker. To add to that, the cadets that you helped train, or the cadets that I helped train that are now captains and majors, and some have grown and did their part and gotten out, still contact me via social media. So yes, you have done your job well, and thanks for doing it. Like I said, it's not always glorious, but it is honorable, and I thank you for it. Okay, now for the group of people we're all here today to see, you future second lieutenants. It has been almost 25 years the day that I was commissioned as second lieutenant. And you know what? I don't remember a word that guy said either. So I'm not expecting you to remember what I have to say. Okay? So, but let me first be one of the first to congratulate you on such a great accomplishment. You're about to enter the most difficult and challenging professions in the history of mankind. No other profession will ask you to do what our nation will require of you. You will train all the time in all types of terrain, in all types of weather, day or night. You will be expected to be experts in your craft, even though you just started. There is no internship. There is no probation. There are no second places. We fight and we win. It is what our nation demands of us. It is not for the faint-hearted. It will take you away from everyone and everything you know and love. Let that drive you to love and fight for those things even more. It is a special passion that drives our soldiers, one not found anywhere else. That passion drives us to train and do PT every day, even on the days we are tired or cold or rainy or hungry or all the above. It is that love and passion that will drive you to train your soldiers and take care of them. And although some of you may not have children yet, our Army's former Command Sergeant Major of the Army, Daly, would say he's actually instructed the Army's senior leaders to love their soldiers as themselves or as their own children. That doesn't mean to coddle them. It means to make them better, train them, discipline them, reward them, and thank them for their service. They, just like you, volunteered to serve their nation, and they deserve and demand your leadership. Okay, wow, that was pretty deep. Okay, now for a few friendly words of advice. Hey, so these will come fast and furious, so get your pen and paper handy. Okay, real quick. 1 is none, 2 is 1. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? There are many paths to the same destination, i.e., there are different ways to get things done. It's not always your way or the highway. People ahead of you have done great things, and people behind you, as well as you, will do great things. Just remember, it's not always perfect. Just get it done. Take care of soldiers, and everything else will take care of itself. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I have failed much more than I've succeeded. President Theodore Roosevelt said it best. In any moment of decision, the best you can do is the right thing. The worst you can do is nothing. So make sure you do something. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. A good plan executed violently is better than a perfect plan executed late. General of the Army George C. Marshall said a number of things on leadership to new leaders. One of them was, the most important factor of all is character. So when in doubt, if you have to choose between character and competence, always choose character. At your soon-to-be level, your best leadership will be one of two things. One, you are the moral compass of your unit. As a young company commander, there are two separate and distinct occasions where my soldiers thought of doing the wrong thing. On one occasion, during a raid of a high-value target, one of my soldiers found an enormous amount of money, adding up to about 200,000 American dollars, and offered to split it with me. And no matter how much I really wanted that to pay for those 4 sons' college, that moral courage kicked in and we turned it in. On another instance, out in Baghdad, we had lost one of our best NCOs, Staff Sergeant Pena, to enemy contact. We had raided it. After that happened, we raided another target and captured a number of military-aged males. As my soldiers were escorting them out of the target house, they were leading them off in the wrong direction to administer their own type of justice for their lost soldier and our lost NCO. And no matter how much I wanted that money or to get revenge for Sergeant Pena, I had to make sure our soldiers did the right thing. I owed it to them and myself. So again, your competence is important, but your character is more important. And now the second, your second leadership ability would be your ability to be a good follower, not just for the company commander, who you're bound to question and butt heads with, but also your platoon sergeant, that NCO. He or she will definitely know more than you. If you empower them, counsel them, and be a good teammate, then the unit will succeed, and in part, you will succeed. Okay, teammates, that's about all I have. I know that was probably longer than you want it to be, but I wanted to be thorough. Again, my congratulations, and I can't wait to see you and work with you in our profession. That's all I have. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Colonel Woodruff. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the part of the ceremony that these cadets have spent several years working towards. There are 3 parts to the commissioning ceremony: the oath of office, the pinning of rank, and the first salute. The military officer's oath is a combination of constitutional requirement, historical influence, and century-old custom. For the pinning of a new rank, it is tradition for the cadets to choose people to pin on the rank that have had a significant influence on their progression to becoming an officer. There is also the time-honored tradition in the Army of the first salute. As the first enlisted soldier renders a salute to a commissioned officer to acknowledge their newly gained authority and responsibility. The young officer then presents the soldier with a silver dollar, representing their gratitude and appreciation for the mentorship and development provided on their journey to leadership. Colonel David Woodruff will now administer the oath of office to Cadet Zachary Woodruff.
Okay, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Zachary Woodruff,
Having been appointed an officer
have been appointed an officer
and the grade of second lieutenant
and the grade of second lieutenant
in the Army of the United States,
in the Army of the United States,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, buddy. Okay,
And
you got a good camera.
oh, wait, I am.
You're good. Keep going.
Lieutenant Woodruff will be pinned by David and Jennifer Woodruff. Second Lieutenant Woodruff's first salute will be from Sergeant First Class Joshua Ingram, U.S. Army.
See on YouTube.
Slow.
Oh, no, it's working.
Lieutenant Colonel Harris will now administer the oath of office to the main body of cadets.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Quinn,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
That I
that I
take
take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without
any
any
mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or
or
purpose
purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge
discharge the duties
of the office on which I am about to enter.
of the office I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me
Help me
God.
God.
Congratulations.
At this time, we will highlight each second lieutenant one at a time to receive their rank and first salute. Second Lieutenant Janelle Barnes is being commissioned into the United States Army as an Adjutant General Corps officer. Second Lieutenant Barnes will be pinned by Sandra and Jeff Barnes. Second Lieutenant Barnes's first salute will be from Sergeant Christopher Laudermilt, U.S. Army.
The hood guy.
Second Lieutenant Autumn Beeman is being commissioned into the United States Army as an infantry officer.
Congratulations.
Second Lieutenant Beeman is being pinned by Raekwon Blunt. Second Lieutenant Beeman's first salute will be from Sergeant First Class Joshua Ingram, U.S. Army.
Thank you.
Second Lieutenant Sean Bowler is being commissioned into the United States Army as an Air Defense Artillery officer. Second Lieutenant Bowler will be pinned by Jane Bowler and Marty Talbot.
Hi, buddy. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for dressing up.
Second Lieutenant Bowler's first salute will be from Sergeant Daniel Bowler, U.S. Army.
Hi. No. No.
You gonna cry? You gonna cry?
No.
Second Lieutenant Kendra Curtis is being commissioned into the United States Army as an armor officer. Second Lieutenant Curtis will be pinned by Rachel Mitchell. Second Lieutenant Curtis's first salute will be from Sergeant First Class Armando Rodriguez, U.S. Army. Second Lieutenant Derek Henkowski is being commissioned into the United States Army as a field artillery officer. Second Lieutenant Henkowski will be pinned by Regina and Dominic Henkowski and Mary Vitale. Second Lieutenant Henkowski's first salute will be from Staff Sergeant Gene Henkowski, U.S. Army. Second Lieutenant Taylor Kalchuk is being commissioned into the United States Army as an engineering officer. Second Lieutenant Kalchuk will be pinned by Kevin Kalchuk. Second Lieutenant Kalchuk's first salute will be from Corporal Jarrett Barnes, U.S. Marine Corps. Second Lieutenant Nicholas Quinn is being commissioned into the United States Army as an engineering officer. Second Lieutenant Quinn will be pinned by Kyle Mackey. Second Lieutenant Quinn's first salute will be from SMP Cadet Kyle Mackey, U.S. Army. Second Lieutenant Jacob Bratton is being commissioned into the United States Army as an aviation officer. Second Lieutenant Ratton will be pinned by Michael and Marion Ratton. Second Lieutenant Ratton's first salute will be from Master Sergeant Donald Clemens, U.S. Army. Second Lieutenant Zachary Truxton is being commissioned into the United States Army as a Chemical Corps officer. Second Lieutenant Truxton will be pinned by Scott and Debbie Truxton. Second Lieutenant Truxton's first salute will be from Lance Corporal Scott Truxton, U.S. Marine Corps. Major Megan Breen will now administer the oath of office to Cadet Andrea Olson.
I state your name.
I, Andrea Olson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will take this obligation freely
that I will take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Second Lieutenant Andrea Olson is being commissioned into the United States Army as an armor officer. Second Lieutenant Olson will be pinned by Bruce and Kimberly Olson. Second Lieutenant Olson's first salute will be from Petty Officer Second Class Adam Holloway, U.S. Navy. At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Harris will now administer the National Guard Oath of Office to Second Lieutenants Autumn Beeman, Taylor Kalchek, and Nicholas Quinn.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Quinn,
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly
do
swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
I
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against
all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I will obey the orders
that I will obey the orders
of the President of the United States
of the President of the United States
and the Governor of the State of
and the Governor of the State of Michigan,
that I make this obligation freely
that I make this obligation freely
without any mental reservations
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Second Lieutenant
the duties of the office of Second Lieutenant
in the Army National Guard
in the Army National Guard
of the State of
the State of Michigan,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the Army's newest second lieutenants. Please direct your attention to the screen for the benediction and the playing of the Army song. If you would like to sing along, the lyrics can be found at the bottom of the screen.
Come get in it with me. Yeah. Might as well.
Be in a spirit of prayer. Heavenly Father, our lives are a stewardship in your eyes. We pray for the light of your wisdom, giving us an awareness of our lifelong responsibility to you our families, our nation, and indeed all humanity. In a moment of silence, let us commend to your care and keeping all those in our armed forces and their loved ones, especially those in harm's way. Let us never forget those in every generation who have paid the ultimate price. And now, may the troubled waters of your life be calmed. May the rising winds that surround you be settled. May you find the time you need just to breathe. May love abide all around you. May you be who you are. May you find what you seek and the one who seeks you. May God, our Creator, God, our Redeemer, God, our Helper, bless us and keep us now and always.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Down the brave, down the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proud we proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes slowly, goes on. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes slowly, goes on. When it's high, hey, the army's on its way. Gallop and cadence of its throne. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes slowly, goes on.
On behalf of the cadre, staff, and cadets of the NMU Wildcat Battalion, thank you all for attending. This concludes our commissioning ceremony. Please stand by to thank the cadets.